Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is August the 14th, 2024. Hopefully this episode finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. What is it, Wednesday? It's hump day. Hopefully, you humped and didn't get humped. As for me, unless you're into that. As for me, I had a good day. It was fun. Let's see here. We got treated to a little work treat. They gave us some food. It was chicken and fries. And then also they were passing out popcorn too. So that was nice. You can just get as much as you want, no ticket. So that was cool. That was fun. Let's see here. Food corner from last night, I had pasta bolognese, which is pretty yummy. Let's see here. What else did I have with it? It was the pasta. It was the salad. It was different bread, I guess, a little bit. I just used some wheat bread. And then I had a bolillo roll. But on the bolillo roll, I put some pepperonis on it because I still had some left over. And then I often don't say this, but I usually put some cheese on and some olive oil, stuff like that. A new thing I've been doing is putting on pesto as well. But I've always been doing that, but I now just do it before I usually would apply it as I was eating it, but now I apply it now. That's the change I'm trying to illustrate here. So there you go. Let's see here. What are some other things I wanted to gab about real quick before I get into the news, do the startup? I've been reading a book, other than my little fantasy book I've been reading. But this one is, if you're an Anthony Bourdain fan, maybe you've already read it or you know about it, but it's called Kitchen Confidential, and it's been really good read. Now, as y'all know, I do the little audiobook thing. This comes with my premium subscription on Spotify, so I was like, hell yeah, I'll take a free book read. So it's about 8 hours or something like that. But yeah, been pretty good so far. Especially if you're an Anthony Bourdain enjoyer, it's nice to hear him talk about his life and how he came up, and then also give you tips and tricks along the way and talk about the industry, talk about just food, and it's great. If I don't know, if you're a parts unknown enjoyer, if you know what that is, then hell yeah, you're probably a millennial who stayed up too late and was watching CNN cable or something. But hell yeah, or once again, you're just an Anthony Bourdain enjoyer and you already know about the shit. So yeah, I think he has he had another book out. Obviously, R.I.P. But now I'm definitely interested after I'm done with this if I can get my hands on that other book. But definitely would suggest it if you have not read it. So yeah, there's that. I've been doing some of that. It's been nice. Feel cultured. Let's see here. There's really not much else to report about that. I kept forgetting that I was hey, I started that book. I wanted to talk about it. So yeah. Let's go ahead and do our startup, and we'll go ahead and get into some news. Oh, yeah. Ooh. From ABC News. WHO declares Mpox, or monkeypox, a public health emergency as newer strain spreads in Africa. The World Health Organization, or WHO, declared Mpox to be a public health emergency of international concern, PHEIC. I guess that's the abbreviation, on Wednesday. Today, the emergency committee met and advised me that, in its view, the situation constitutes a public health emergency of international concern. I've accepted that advice, said WHO Director Dr. General Tedros Adhanom Adhanom, and apologies in advance, Ghebreyesus, sticking that, during a media briefing on Wednesday. In the U.S., there have been 1,634 cases of mpox reported so far this year, according to the data from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or the CDC. And look, y'all, I don't know if it's problematic to call it monkeypox anymore. Maybe, maybe not. I feel like I heard monkeypox today when I was listening about this, but maybe it's mpox now, and that is the PC term to use. I don't know, but if you hear me saying monkeypox, don't cancel me if that's bad. Let's see. Although mpox is endemic to parts of Central and Western Africa, cases have been rising dramatically in the Democratic Republic of Congo, or the DRC. This year, there have been already more than 14,000 mpox cases and 524 deaths reported in the DRC, according to the WHO. There are two types of mpox, clade 1 and clade 2, with clade roughly meaning they are descended descended from a common ancestor organism, while clade 1 has caused small localized outbreaks in the DRC for years. Researchers identified a clade 1 variant known as clade 1b. That seems to spread mainly through sexual contact and appears to be behind the outbreak in the DRC. I feel like there's a stipulation that you should add here, maybe. I might be wrong, but I think that it's less about the sexual contact of it all, because I think sometimes people take that and then run with it a certain kind of way, but it's more about that this version of it, this variant, is very, like, close contact. Like, a mother can spread it to her child via just, like, having contact with their baby. So it's that skin-to-skin kind of contact that's making it happen, more so than the fact that it's bumping uglies. I feel like that's important to say. But once again, I'm not a scientist. So, maybe someone can shout at me like, rah, 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 and I will be wrong. But you should cite your sources too. Anywho, Tedros said the detection of clade 1b in neighboring African countries that have never reported mpox cases before, including Burundi, Kenya, Rwanda, and Uganda, led him to convene a meeting of WHO's emergency committee. The detection and rapid spread of a new clade of mpox in eastern DRC is detection in neighboring countries that had not previously reported mpox, and the potential for further spread within Africa and beyond is very worrying, Tedros said during the briefing. Let's see here. And then it's also worth noting that actually, no, let's go ahead and read this whole thing. On Monday, the Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or the Africa CDC, the continent's top health agency, declared mpox a public health emergency for continental security, the first such declaration since Africa CDC's inception in 2017, according to the agency. On the same day, WHO published a report that found that there were a total of 934 new laboratories confirmed cases of mpox and 4 deaths from 26 countries in the month of June, illustrating the transmission of mpox across the world. So yeah, I mean, I know that we talked about this a little bit last year. Apparently that it was even lighter than the year prior to that. So I was like, oh, damn, that's crazy. But it's definitely... unfortunate that, this is something that seemingly is getting worse in, in Africa, at least parts of Africa that it normally hasn't or isn't. But hopefully, we can get tamped down on it, and hopefully I'm coming back with some better news about this situation. But yes, I will keep you posted. But let's move on. I know maybe that's not so savory, to talk about, but let's talk about something sweet. Maybe even a little salty. What do you fancy? There's a lot of snacks on the menu. Let's go ahead and get into it. Let's open up the cabinet or the pantry. Where do you keep your snacks? I don't know. From the Associated Press, sweet and salty deal worth $300 billion with a B would put M&M's and Snickers alongside Cheez-Its and Pringles. Okay, I have a confession, y'all. I don't know if I've said this before on the pod. I probably have. I'm not a big Cheez-Its enjoyer. There are very few Cheez-It variants that I like. Variations, what have you. I don't know what you call it. Cheez-Its pretzel, that's a banger. That's a rare banger. But OG Cheez-It, it's fake cheese, processed cheese I don't like. Don't get me wrong, I love a Cheese Whiz, but I don't like that. I don't like Goldfish that much either for the same reason. I know this is like a hot take or whatever, and we're not even talking about the news yet, but I just wanted to throw that out there. But that being said, this is a big merger. Now they're all under this same company. M&M's, or at least they're going to be. M&M's maker Mars is buying Kellanova, the maker of Cheez-Its and Pop-Tarts, for nearly $30 billion in an effort to broaden its snacking portfolio and expand globally. Kellanova was created last year when the Kellogg company split into two companies. Chicago-based Kellanova sells many of the former company's most profitable brands, including Pringles, Eggo, Townhouse, Morningstar Farms, and Rice Krispie Treats. It had net sales of more than $13 billion last year and has about 23,000 employees. Mars Inc. said Wednesday it will pay $83.50 per share in cash. The company put the total value of the transaction at $35.9 billion, including the debt. The deal will give Mars significantly more buying power from suppliers and selling power in negotiations with grocers and other retailers, said Randall Kenworthy, a senior partner specializing in consumer products at the consulting firm West Monroe. Sounds like a fancy guy. Let's see here. Mars and Kellanova combined would control around 8% of the U.S. snack market, he said, compared to a 9% share for PepsiCo, which owns Frito-Lay. Kellanova has a bigger international footprint, which will help Mars expand overseas, Kenworthy said, and Mars has made a lot of improvements in its organizational efficiency that it can apply to Kellanova. And then I guess it's worth mentioning because we did talk about the Smucker's deal last year, which they referenced in this article. It is the biggest deal in the sector since J.M. Smucker bought Hostess for $5.6 billion last year, and among the largest of the 2024 behind ExxonMobil's $60 billion acquisition of Pioneer Natural Resources and Capital One's financial $35 billion acquisition of Discover Financial Services. So it's definitely big money. It's a big money transaction. Apparently, this happened within like a few months, which I initially wouldn't have expected. I would have thought this would be a deal that you're telling me would have took like years to come into play. But essentially, Steve Callahan, Kellanova's CEO, said that Mars approached them and was like, hey, we want to buy you up. We want to gobble you up. We want to eat you up. You look delicious. And it's like, they're like, okay, how about for this much? And they said, yeah, we love that. And they did. That was the deal. I don't know. That's a dramatic reenactment. There you go. I don't know. You couldn't get that at NPR. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense. You saw that deal last year, that Hostess deal or whatever. That seemed really big. That seemed really enticing. It put money up on the stocks or whatever, and people love that. Shareholders love seeing that. So you could see that, hey, there's an opening here to literally get a big chunk of Kellogg's. More or less, that's what it is. So it's like, and not to mention they're in the same operating backyard. Like Mars operates out of Chicago. Kellanova operates out of Chicago. So it just really just works out. So essentially it's like, hey, let's just buy you out of the game and we just kind of absorb you up, Kirby. And, everyone's winning. Plus it's worth noting that chocolate is definitely not really selling right now. Coca is more expensive than it's ever has been, like the Coca leaf or bean, whatever the fuck. It's bean, right? Yeah, there you go. Not to mention, people aren't really eating as much chocolate. They're pivoting to other kind of snacks. So there's that. There's not a ton of brand overlap here, though there is some, and there's also, a chance that they might have to, deal with like some kind of government regulation, looking at them, sniffing around, saying, hey, is this on the level? Is this good? Is there too much overlap? Blah, 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 but we'll see. But yeah, chocolate really hasn't been super hidden right now. It's kind of the point I was trying to get at. And not to mention, some of the Mars brand are just not good. You know what I mean? It's just kind of not good chocolate. Like, I didn't mind it maybe as a kid, but then like as I got older, it just really wasn't hidden anymore. It just wasn't as as yummy. Not, but that being said, I do like a good M&M, but granted, now I know that coating isn't even the same. I was like, oh man, I thought this, I always had like a mysticism about all the chocolate I was eating. And then you just realize it's like, no, man, it's junk food for a reason. It's just garbage. So yeah, you know what I mean? It's definitely a little bit disheartening, but I've always been like more partial to sour candy anyway. Like I was a Warhead kid, so Sour Patch Kids is kind of where I land right now. Though I will say, sour Skittles are really good. I do love them. Now they're talking about some brand mashups that definitely made my stomach kind of do a little backflip. I think they said something about like Skittles and Pop-Tarts coming together. That sounds disgusting to me. I'm not into that. Then they said something about a Snicker flavored Pringle. And I'm like, I could see how someone's into that because I know some people who do like a chocolate covered chip. I think that's a bit silly. But if you want your Pringles with the veins, then by all means, hell yeah, go off. But, I think it's good for the goose, good for the gander. We'll see if some antitrust guy or whatever says, hey, I can show you and explain to you how this is bad for business and a monopoly, or leaning towards too much towards that, then it's like, okay, I'm anti it. Then you got me. I'm back. I'm off the wagon. But this seems fine. Seems cool. I like all my candy under one tent if it makes me better candy, but then oftentimes that doesn't usually happen. Like I said, it sounds like you're gonna get schlock, like I just mentioned. But who knows? I mean, hey, we'll see. I thought it was just interesting to talk about, so we'll see where it goes from here. But yeah, big deal, big snacks. Anyway, let's move on. Got a little bit of dinosaur news. From Eyewitness News, ABC 7. Though I will say, if you want to get the full, robust report from this, the best source is to go to natgeo.com, National Geographic. They did the whole story on this, on the story of this new dinosaur that is being unveiled at the LA Natural History Museum. And it's starting November 17th. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about it. The National History Museum is introducing a new four-legged friend to Los Angeles, Gnatalie the dinosaur. And it's worth mentioning that it's Gnatalie spelled like gnat, like the bzzz, you're annoying. That kind of gnat. Thanks to National Geographic, ABC 7 is giving you a sneak peek. Gnatalie was found in the Badlands of Utah in 2007, so it's been almost 17 years putting Gnatalie together for this display, said Chris Weisbart, the Associate Vice President of Exhibitions at the Natural History Museum of Los Angeles County. According to the Natural History Museum, dozens of people from LA were part of the excavation process for the long-necked dinosaur, including paleontologists, researchers, and volunteers. That's why Gnatalie is being nicknamed the community dinosaur. Now, I'm sure you're wondering why she is named Gnatalie. Gnatalie was named for the biting gnats that are in this area of the Utah Badlands. The excavation teams go out for months at a time in the summer, and it's very hot and filled with biting insects, Weisbart said. Also, this dinosaur is huge, dude. Like, I was only able to fit the neck and the head of the dinosaur in this, but I think I heard that it took like 5 big panoramic shots and they had to edit them together into one shot to give you a picture of it. Like, there's only really like renderings right now. I don't think it's like, up and available. But hey, if I have any LA, like California visitors, please sound off. Please hit me up. Let me know. Send me pictures. I would love that. That'd be super awesome. But it's also worth noting that about 80% of the dinosaur is real. It's a composite of multiple dinosaurs, all belonging to the same species, weighing about 5 tons or as much as an RV. Now, this is a little bit of like, I guess, inside baseball that maybe like me as a kid, I would have plugged my ears like, no, like this is not real. Like this is my dinosaur. Like the dinosaur I saw, like I remember, I think it was like, yeah, it's back in like when I lived in St. Louis as a kid. They had like a really cool, I think, what is it, animatronic? I never know the right word, but like just big, huge dinosaurs, and it'd be like a T-Rex or a Brontosaurus or whatever, right? I'm sure I'm getting these fucking names wrong. Whatever, Triceratops, like all the bangers, all the favorites. But it's like apparently we've learned over time that it's like, hey, a lot of your dinosaurs that you've seen, your pterodactyls, all this kind of stuff, they all look different. You know what I mean? Like, some of these dinosaurs had feathers. Some of the dinosaurs, kind of like Gnatalie, are like amalgamations of a dinosaur, and we just are kind of giving you that. And now we kind of see, well, this is like actually what this dinosaur and this dinosaur and this dinosaur is. And if you kind of form it all together, this is the one you kind of remember from Land Before Time. And it's like, oh, well, I kind of wish you wouldn't tell me all this, but thank you. All right, cool. That's dope. I mean, hey, knowledge is power. And, I'm a big boy. I can take it. It's fine if my raptor has some feathers on it. I mean, I don't know if they did, whatever. Don't come for me if I'm wrong on that. But anyway, it's cool that they were able to like form this with like a 3D printer, chunks of this dinosaur to actually make it happen. And once again, I remember hearing that earlier today and making a little bit of frowny face, but then I'm thinking about it now and I'm like, dude, they like would form these display models of these bones and stuff, like with like, product, like Isaiah, come on, come on, coconut head. Like, and it's like, oh, duh. Like, and it's like, yeah, it's all good. That's pretty cool. So I thought this was pretty interesting. Like I said, there's more if you want the full details, more visual, yada, go to National Geographic. But I just wanted the quick and easy, the short and sweet. So yeah, let's go ahead and move on. Like I said, November 17th, if there's any listeners, it'd be super cool to know I have any listeners in Los Angeles. It's super cool to learn where any of you guys are. So let me know where you're listening to, but you don't have to, but whatever. Anyway, let's close out. Let's take this shit to motherfucking space. I want to talk about Mars. Is there life on Mars? There's definitely a little bit of H2O on that motherfucker, but let's go ahead and get into it. Well, last off, let's blast off. Take our last break. Ooh, yeah. Bop. All right. From the BBC. Reservoir of liquid found deep in Martian rocks. So yeah, is Mars wet? Survey says yes. Granted, it's worth noting, even my dumbass knew that, like, there is ice caps on Mars. So, like, we knew there was some form of water there. It's also mentioned that, we've known that it's in the atmosphere. So it's like, okay, cool. So it's kind of like, well, what do you mean? But it's like, no, we now know that, I'll just read now. Scientists have discovered a reservoir of liquid water on Mars, deep in the rocky outer crust of the planet. The findings come from a new analysis of data from NASA's Mars InSight lander, which touched down on the planet back in 2018. The lander carried a seismometer. We're going to say seismometer or seismeter. It's seismeter. I just wanted to call it seismometer in my heart. Which recorded 4 years of vibrations. It's the gun vibrations. Sorry. Mars quakes from deep inside the red planet. Analyzing those quakes and exactly how the planet moves revealed seismic signals of liquid water. Which, once I heard this, I'm like, that's really cool, but that's such a nerdy way to figure out that there's water on a planet. I don't know why that makes me mad, but it doesn't make me mad. It just makes me mad because I wouldn't have figured it out. That I couldn't. That's not how my brain works. But yeah, while there is water frozen at the Martian poles and evidence of vapor in the atmosphere, this is the first time liquid water has been found on the planet. So this is a big discovery. It's pretty cool. They have more details about it, yada, 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 but we're not scientists, so who cares? We'll leave it to them. I just thought this was a pretty cool discovery, that there's actually a reservoir of water flowing through Mars. Also in the article they said that like that we've known that there's like indications of water on the surface. It just was there many years ago. So, I was like, oh shit, that's cool. I didn't know that until I read this article today. So I was like, okay, that's cool. Which also makes me think about how, I guess, selfish I am as a little human being. Like, I only think about this planet, dude. I've never pondered the history of Jupiter. No, I haven't. But at the same time, if we were talking about like KOTOR, then I would get into this. If we were talking about Mass Effect, then I could get into this. I would understand and care about all the lore of those planets. But my own real life Milky Way, I'm like, what do you mean? Oh shit. So you're saying they used to have water? That shouldn't have blown my mind. That should have just been like a duh thing, I guess. I don't know. Hey, look, we're at the end of the episode. We're here. We've made it. Let's go ahead and head on home. Let's just take our cruiser on back. We're not like Boeing. We can just get on back whenever we want. All right. I don't run that kind of ship here. Okay. You're going to get home. These trains are going to run on time. Anyway, that's it. That's the episode. Let's see here. Is there anything else? No, I think we're good. I got to shill a little bit. Patreon.com/Isaiah News if you'd like to become a newsie today. I shout you out at the top of the month. You help out the effort, so that's cool. It's a win-win for everybody. It's a cool little way to tip. But listening is the best way to just, show love. I really appreciate that so much. But yes, free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Any of the socials, feel free to hit that follow button. Feel free to DM me. But yeah, like I said, sound off where you're from if you want. Like I said, LA people, show me that dinosaur. Let's see. Anything else? The YouTube. Subscribe. Hit that subscription button. It really helps out a lot. Hit the like button. Hit the comment section and say something cool. And sharing is caring. It can be fun. Also, 5 stars if this is Spotify or whatever other listening platform. You know the deal. But yes, hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.